Spirit has started leading my life probably for the last 15 years is when that's first started. Mm-hmm. And much more so in the last 10 years, 8 years. I really felt like I needed to turn my life over to God and let Him show me the way. I had this vision that came to me, and I didn't understand it at first, but it said that I was going to live in more of a retreat setting. I couldn't see it real clearly, but it was like a retreat setting, but I was going to be in a retreat setting 6 years from then, north of here, and I wasn't going to be a nun. And I thought, okay, I wonder what that means. And it turned out that 6 years almost to the day from then, certainly within a week of 6 years from that time, I was at a retreat setting north of here in Virginia at Yogaville. I was at a 4-day silent retreat, and that's just a wonderful place, very inspiring in a lot of ways. And so when I left there, I realized it's time. And I didn't even remember my vision at that time. I just felt a strong sense that it was time for me to move and try to come up with a place where people could come.
The preparation was a challenge, getting the other house ready for the market. We had to get it ready and cleaned up, painted, and prepped up, ready for the market. So that took quite a bit of energy. And once we had the opportunity to come over here and start this project, the land had been ravaged by the people that came in and cut all the timber off of it. So it was in really, really bad shape. And then we realized it was going to take a lot of work just to clean it up enough to put in a driveway or whatever. And anyhow, we got that stage of it done, and everything was going well. Mary Scott actually designed this house herself and the chapel herself.
Or the visions that were in my head about this chapel were, I kept seeing an old stone chapel as if it was in the Irish Celtic Christian chapels of long ago, and that just felt very grounded to me. So I wanted it to feel old, but also feel light and fresh, and so that's what we were kind of going for. I feel like my role, if I have any role, is just to hold a space for people to get together. That's what I do.
We got the plans approved, the engineering approved, everything was on go, and everything was going well, and the contractor actually came down and started the process. And it was just within a few weeks of going, we came down and the process had to stop completely. And the reason was the clearing that had been done through the years, the previous person and what we did as well, we got too close to a little stream that's at the bottom of the hill. And so we had to stop the project and have an engineer come in and design what they call a stream buffer. And so that took quite a while. So that set us back quite a couple of months or more. And but once we finally got all that finalized, the project started going. And we would come out every day, almost every day when we could, to see the progress and talk to the superintendent. And it was an enjoyable process going through that, and we're excited about it. And of course, this is a big house with a lot of square footage, and it took a lot of time to complete. And all through this process, we can just see how we would get anxious and nervous, but yet we would be praying and asking Holy Spirit to help us through this whole process. And every time we would see how things would just happen, and they would fall right into place, right at the last minute, many times, but they always fell in place on time. And so we learned some great lessons. And I think that was something we both realized through this process. We had to learn to trust. And I think we both grew a lot in that sense in the building of this house and chapel.
Right now I feel like the chapel is more to be very open and interfaith, and even though that idea was interfaith, if you think of all the different saints and sages being represented, the idea now is that it's more simple. It's just an open space, simple, available for whatever people need it to be for them. We aren't going to lock ourselves into anything.
I think Mary Scott and I have sat and talked about this many times, what the vision was. And Mary Scott said, I'm not really sure. I was just led to build the chapel. I really didn't know what the end result was going to be, or what it was going to be about, or how Spirit was going to use this house and the chapel. We really did not know. We didn't really have a vision on how it would be used or what it would be used for. And we still don't know. We're getting just bits and pieces.
I don't have any real expectations. I feel like I completed my assignment. It's like I knew I had to do this. And after we had the blessing of the chapel, I was overwhelmed and humbled by all the beautiful people there. Beautiful people in the congregation, just the shining faces, the incredible people.
We just want to open the chapel up for anybody that wants to come in and spend time for meditation or have a smaller group or whatever. We just want to make it open to all spiritual paths.
The interesting thing about this whole process has been, I wasn't thinking about anything. It was just little blips of inspiration that I knew I had to do. It was just an instant vision that I knew I was going to build something like this or live in a place like this. And then it was just another instant that I knew I was going to build a chapel, and I could just see little visions. The only thing that I feel like I really want to see happen, and a lot of things could happen, but the one thing I feel is that there might be some silent retreat.
But we don't know for sure, Jamie, what Spirit's wanting to do or will do. We're just open for whatever He wants to do. Whatever Spirit wants, that's what we want.
The chapel is oriented east-west, and a friend of mine, Jeff, talked to me about the idea of orienting it based on Native American tradition, which often oriented their buildings or villages at least east-west, with the rising sun and the setting sun. And so the windows, we wanted to have the rising sun to come through that round window at the top, and then hopefully see the light at the far end and the Gothic window.
We would go in to meditate like in the mornings, especially on the weekends, because in the mornings before we go to work it's too dark and the sun's not up, but on the weekends we would meditate in the later time of the morning. We would go in, and a lot of times there's there's a huge window that faces to the east on the front side of the chapel. And then as the sun rises, it catches that window just right, and it'll shine somewhere in the chapel on the back west wall where the big window is there. And we were in there one morning. I said, wow, that is so beautiful. But it was kind of down in the corner away. I said, that is so beautiful. I said, wow, Mary Scott, wouldn't it be something if one day we walked in here and it was just right on top of that big, beautiful window, like it was just perched up on top of that window. She'd go, wow, that would be beautiful. And it was just a matter of maybe a week or two later, she comes in, she says, I got something to show you. And so we go walking in there, and as soon as we walk in, I went, ah. And I looked up, and there it was, just beautiful, illuminating the whole room because it was high up on the wall and just shining like it was sitting apex up on top of that window. And it was just beautiful. And then it dawned on us, this is Easter morning. Easter morning. It just put chills. It gave me chills, the whole experience did. But it was a very beautiful and moving experience.
And it just came that it was going to be a gratitude chapel. And the thing that made sense there was that everybody understands gratitude. Nobody is excluded from that. Every religion can come to the heart of gratitude, one way or the other. You can get rid of all the superficial things that make religions seem different, and at the heart, or at least the mystical part of all the religions, seem to come down to loving kindness, forgiveness, peace, and joy. And when you sit with all of those, the common result is your heart sings, and then that's gratitude, I think. I think the Course in Miracles, I'm paraphrasing it a little bit, but it says something to the effect that the highest level of prayer is a song of thanks to God. And it just seems like that's where gratitude is.